FEMA Regional Director John Copenhaver. John, thanks for joining us. You and I spoke yesterday, and we appreciate you lending your voice to this post-devastation as Florida is trying to clean up. Let's address the concerns of that individual that spoke to my colleague, Ali Velshi, in talking about the response and how to make it equitable, right? You look at, for instance, flood insurance in the areas that are hardest hit. I want to read for you from the Washington Post. Only around 20% of residents in the areas under evacuation orders have federal flood insurance, and many others don't have adequate property insurance given the scale of the destruction. If they've lost their entire home, maybe they make, like that gentleman, $25,000 a year. They're not the loudest voices in the room. How do does the federal government ensure these folks get the help that they need and get it fast?
The federal government's doing what's called surging right now. They're literally bringing in personnel. They're bringing in people that are specialized in everything from response, which includes search and rescue, up to helping people evacuate, helping work with other agencies to try to find housing, making sure that people have some place that they can lay their head. And while it is true that people that had flood insurance would be able to file claims, the truth of the matter is that under the individual assistance programs that FEMA brings to bear, that everybody is going to receive help. It's just that that help is not always going to be instantaneous. And understandably, these people who've lost so much, if not everything, are concerned. And they really feel like at this point in time that their government, both federal, state, and local, ought to be helping them. And those attempts are being made, but it's just going to take a little bit more time because of the sheer scope of this effort.
Yeah. You have this unique experience, John, of dealing with the Southeast region, which is oftentimes hard hit by these hurricanes. It seems like every storm that comes in that's significant is worse than the last, right? And so often we're having these conversations. At what point do folks say, maybe we shouldn't be rebuilding in areas like this that continue to be a target as we're dealing with global warming? Flooding is getting worse, rain is getting worse, storm surges are getting worse, wind is getting worse. And we might do it today, rebuild today, and we'll have to do it again in 5 years if we rebuild here.
That's true. All of that's true. And people are going to have to think about whether or not they want to rebuild in areas that have been hit hard. There are areas that we know based on flood insurance or flood rate maps that have been done that we know are subject to repetitive flooding. But this was an extraordinary event. The problem is that when we use the terms 1 in 1,000 year event, 1 in 500 year event, we're using terms that are no longer accurate. Unfortunately, things that are supposed to be a 1 in 500 year event or a 1 in 1,000 year event are happening with increasing regularity. So to some extent, we have to stop using terms like that because they're hyperbole and they're no longer accurate.
Yeah, it's such a great point. John Copenhaver, great to talk to you once again. Thank you.